Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Gitasha Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 31st of May. At least 16 die as massive fire breaks out at one of India's largest ammunition depots. Number of internally displaced Afghans doubled, says Amnesty International. And World No Tobacco Day observed with enthusiasm in India. And now for all the details. At least 16 people, including army officials, were killed in a massive fire at Indian Army Central Ammunition Depot in country's western Maharashtra province on Tuesday.
A huge fire swept through one of India's biggest ammunition depot at Pulgaon in Wardha district of western Maharashtra province. The massive flames triggered an explosion, killing over a dozen army personnel and injuring several others. The fire broke out on the wee hours of Tuesday as firefighters battled all through the night to bring the situation under control. Thousands of people from nearby villages had to be evacuated to safer areas.
अंगार दिखी थी यहाँ बहुत भारी अंगार चल रही थी अंगार के बाद में थोड़ी देर में ही बहुत बड़ा बॉम्ब स्फोट हो गया बॉम्ब स्फोट होने के बाद हम सब जागे हो गए घर द्वार छोड़ के हम लोनी की तरफ भागने दौड़ लगे
हमने जिलाधीश को ये कहा है कि वो स्वयं उसमें ध्यान दे वो ध्यान दे रहे हैं जो भी रिसोर्सेस उनको चाहिए उन्होंने खासकर मेडिकल इंटरवेंशंस के बारे में हमको अवगत किया वो हमने पूरा उनको दिया है
While the cause of the fire is yet to be known, the army top brass has ordered a probe into the incident.
Gunmen on Tuesday reportedly killed 9 passengers and kidnapped nearly 200 others in northern Kunduz province of Afghanistan. According to reports, at least 3 buses and 3 vans were stopped by the militants along with some other cars. The authorities later is said to have freed majority of them in an operation. The attack has been blamed on Taliban insurgents, although the group has not yet claimed responsibility for it. Kunduz is among the relatively volatile provinces in northern Afghanistan, where the Taliban insurgents are actively operating in a number of its districts and frequently carry out insurgency activities. Amnesty International has urged the Afghan government and the international community to tackle the country's growing crisis of refugees internally displaced by the ongoing war. In its report, the rights group has stated that number of Afghans displaced by violence has doubled over the past 3 years.
There has been a staggering surge of internally displaced persons in Afghanistan over the past 3 years, from 50,000 to 1.2 million, Amnesty International has stated in its report. In its report, Amnesty has stated that when combined with the 2.6 million Afghans living as refugees abroad, it means that almost every family in Afghanistan has experienced being driven from their homes at some point over the past 40 years. In its report, the rights group has also stated that many of the internally displaced live in horrific conditions on the brink of survival. The condition of the displaced has been deteriorating as global attention and aid money have been diverted to other crises.
They face enormous struggles in getting food for the day, finding clothes or accessing basic services like healthcare and education. These are common struggles for poor people all over Afghanistan, but IDPs and displaced people are particularly vulnerable. There are several studies that show that they face incredible hurdles in accessing things that are out of reach for even most poor Afghans.
Growing insecurity and faltering economy were the major factors behind an increasing number of people fleeing their homes and communities in recent years, the report cited. The report says the numbers are growing as the Taliban have intensified their insurgency across Afghanistan since the departure of most foreign combat troops in 2014.
In order to organize and seal the Afghan-Pakistan border along the Torkham area, commuting through the border has been made conditional as people without a valid passport will no longer be allowed to cross into Pakistan. The border management system will come into effect from June 1st. Authorities have for long alleged the most terrorist attacks on Pakistan soil originated from Afghanistan. An estimated 10,000 to 15,000 people cross the border daily on either side at Torkham without proper travel documentation. People in Pakistan-administered Kashmir lead a life of turmoil and hardships. The elderly persons in the region are suffering due to denial of pension and other post-retirement benefits. A report.
The Pensioners Association in Pakistan-administered Kashmir recently held a protest demonstration in front of the Secretariat to press for their demands of getting post-retirement benefits. The clarion call made by these beleaguered retirees highlighted their frustration towards the authorities.
मुझे हमें अफसोस होता है कि हम इस उम्र में आकर इस धूप में बीमार लोग अपना हक मांग रहे हैं और ये हमारा हक लूट कर घरों में और आपने ये जमहूरियत जो है हमारे लिए बूढ़ों के लिए रास नहीं आ रही और हम ये इस जुल्म के खिलाफ देना पड़ेगा। अब ये इस जुल्म के खिलाफ हमारा यही एहतियात है कि हमारी कब्रें भी यहीं होंगी, हम यहाँ से नहीं उठेंगे और हम अपना हक लेकर रहेंगे।
The callous attitude of the government has forced the elderly men to fight for their rights in the blistering heat. While these men protest, their counterparts in other parts of Pakistan enjoy all post-retirement benefits.
ये हमने इसलिए शुरू किया था कि पाकिस्तान में जो रिटायर्ड मुलाजम हैं उनको जो मराहत मिल रही हैं उसके बराबर हमें नहीं मिल रही हैं और हमारे लिए इस वक्त इसके सिवा कोई चाराकार नहीं था कि हम एहतियाज करते हैं। चूँकि हुकूमत आज़ाद कश्मीर को इससे पहले हमने बेशुमार दफ़ा खतूत भी लिखे हैं, उनसे मुलाकात भी की है, लेकिन वो हमारे कोई मसले उनने हल न किए और आज नतीजे के तौर पर हमने इन्हें नोटिस दिया।
Pakistan-administered Kashmir has a long history of oppression and suppression, where the poor suffer and have to fight for their rights.
4 Bangladeshi workers detained in Singapore last month under the Internal Security Act were found guilty on Tuesday of financing terrorism. They were charged last Friday, along with 2 others, for providing or collecting money to fund terrorist attacks in Bangladesh. The other 2 have denied the charges. A pre-trial conference for them has set for June 9. These men were among 8 Bangladeshi men who were detained in April under Singapore's Internal Security Act for planning terror attacks back home. Their goal was to set up an Islamic State in Bangladesh and bring it under the self-declared Caliphate of the Islamic State. World No Tobacco Day is observed every year on May 31st. It was created by the member states of the World Health Organization or WHO in 1987. People in various parts of India celebrated the day with enthusiasm.
India observed World No Tobacco Day with great activism. This year, the World Health Organization, as part of the initiative, called for governments across the world to enact policies for plain packaging of tobacco products with the slogan, "Get ready for plain packaging." Campaigns and rallies were held across India to encourage people to abstain from consuming tobacco and raise awareness about the hazardous effects of tobacco consumption on a person's health and well-being.
संदेश तो यही है कि जो भी हमारे साथी तंबाकू या सिगरेट के व्यसन से ग्रसित हैं, आज से वो संकल्प लें कि हम ये तंबाकू और सिगरेट का सेवन नहीं करेंगे और दूसरों को भी इसको छुड़वाने में हमारी मदद करेंगे। हमारे रोल मॉडल्स और एम्बेसडर्स हमारे बच्चे हैं, यूथ हैं, बड़ी भारी संख्या में यहाँ पर आए हैं और हम लोग
Tobacco use is responsible for nearly 6 million deaths each year worldwide, 600,000 of which are the result of non-smokers being exposed to second-hand smoke. According to the recently released Global Adult Tobacco Survey, about 35% of the adults in India consume tobacco in some form or the other.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. At least 16 die as massive fire breaks out at one of India's largest ammunition depots. Number of internally displaced Afghans double, says Amnesty International. And World No Tobacco Day observed with enthusiasm in India. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com /SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.